which exercises are best for me to strengthen my core and abdominal muscles after I've had a baby? And the simple answer is it depends. And I know that that is kind of a crappy answer too, so I'm just going to put it out there, but it really does depend. There is no one size fits all exercise that is going to get your abdominals back after having a baby. And so it really depends on what you were doing pre-pregnancy and during your pregnancy, and how your abdominal muscles are working currently, and how everything kind of coordinates together to decide what's going to be working best. So I'm not going to be giving you kind of specific exercises, but instead I want to give you some things that you should be watching out for when you are exercising to make sure that things are working correctly. Okay, so I'm really actually kind of against websites and people out there who are saying that, oh, okay, wait a minute, you just had a baby or you have a diastasis, which is a separation of the abdominal muscles, you should never do these exercises. I, as a physical therapist, hate hearing people be told that they should never do something. Okay, we might have a discussion as to why a particular movement or exercise is something important or something that they should be doing, and figure out if that's something that that person really cares about doing, kind of the best way that they could do it. But I am not a big fan of never. The human body is amazing, and there are definitely things and ways that we can modify so that people can be doing the things that they want to be doing. And so today I just want to talk about a few of the modifications that maybe you can think about or that you can do, the things that you should be watching out for, so that you know that you're potentially protecting and properly engaging through the abdominal muscles. So a couple of quick tips. The first one is, as far as trying to decide if an exercise is appropriate for strengthening your postpartum core, is you want to make sure first and foremost that you can breathe while you're doing it. Okay, you should not have to hold your breath to complete an exercise. There are certain exercises when we're doing very high level lifting, heavy lifting, where breath holding can be a good strategy that needs to happen. But for the vast majority of us, especially when we're just getting back to exercise, if you cannot properly engage your core muscles and breathe while performing the exercise, then it's probably not appropriate. And that goes for whether the exercise is specific to strengthening your core muscles or not. So a good example of that is with the squat exercise. A lot of women, when they squat, will hold their breath as they push back up. And you should be able to have your abdominal muscles engaged, and inhale as you go down and exhale as you stand back up, and keep the abdominal muscles engaged. So you're hearing me say that a lot, abdominal muscles engaged. What does that mean? So to me, what that is a gentle kind of drawing in or activation of the belly muscles. So when we do that, that's turning on our deepest layer called our transverse abdominal muscles. So I've got mine going right now. I'm talking to you and I'm able to do it. So you didn't see me do a big suck in and hold. That is an incorrect recruitment pattern that ends up putting a lot of pressure through the area. So instead, what I tell people when we're trying to engage those abdominal muscles is take a nice easy breath in, and as you exhale, you should draw in through the belly a little bit. It's almost like your pants are a little too tight and you're trying to pull your belly away from your pants. And so you should have a little bit of activation there. It's not a maximal squeeze. It's not as hard as you possibly can. It's just a little bit of activation, okay? It's like the muscles are getting ready to do something. So think about it, if you were about to run a race. You wouldn't just stand there kind of all floppy at the starting line. Instead, you get in the ready position and you're getting ready to go and take off for the start of the race. So that's what we're doing with the abdominal muscles. Before we do our exercise, we're going to do a little bit of a turn on to kind of get those abdominal muscles ready to go. So I want to be able to maintain and keep those abdominal activations going while I'm doing the exercise. And so if I can't keep that going, especially if it's a muscle that's supposed to be strengthening my core, then it's not appropriate and we're not working it the right way. So how do we know if we lost it or we're not using it well? Well, I already talked about the first way. We hold our breath. Okay, that puts pressure out through the system, and pressure can feel very stable. That's a very easy way that we can make ourselves feel very stable. Think of like a closed soda can. You can't crush the walls of a closed soda can because there's all this pressure out, pushing out on the walls. But the walls of the soda can themselves are not that strong. When we're thinking about getting our abdominal muscles going more, we're thinking about trying to strengthen those walls. Okay, so if you're holding your breath, you're using pressure, not necessarily abdominal strength to complete the exercise. The other thing to think about if you're trying to make sure if something's appropriate besides breath holding is, can you maintain that belly pull in? So if during the exercise you feel your abdominal muscles push forward, or maybe if you're laying down you feel your back kind of arch off the ground, then that's a sign that you're not using the abdominals the right way anymore. So I get a lot of women who come to me after they've gone back to the gym and are doing these core abdominal classes, and they're like, my abs actually feel worse, or I don't feel any stronger. I feel like there's a lot more pressure out, or I feel like my separation has gotten worse. But I'm doing these abdominal strengthening exercises that are supposed to be good for my core. And it's not about the what, it's about the how. Okay, so the exercise itself might be okay, but it's the how you're doing it that may need to be tweaked. Okay, so the two main cues, like I said, to kind of watch out for is you shouldn't have to hold your breath to maintain that kind of core stability, and you shouldn't feel your belly bulging out or your back arching off the ground when you're doing the exercise. So if you can't do those two things while you're doing the exercise, then it's probably not an appropriate exercise for you yet. That doesn't mean never. It just means right now. Okay, so what can you do if you're in that situation where it is an exercise that you want to be doing, but you've noticed now that you're doing it holding your breath and your belly pushes out every time you do it? This is a time to partner with a pelvic or women's health physical therapist to evaluate what is going on in your abdominal wall that you may be not recruiting correctly, and they can show you how so that you can get back to doing your gym routine that you want to be doing. It is my goal as a physical therapist to try and get you as active as you want to be and doing what you want to be doing and working with you to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. Sometimes we just need a little help along the way. So I hope you guys found this helpful. And again, the short answer to which exercise is best to do to get my core strength back after I've had a baby, the simple answer is it depends. And it depends on how you're engaging the muscles, not what the exercise is.